I'd like to now introduce Grant Dawson, who's the Managing Director of the Telstra Business Centre, Sydney Southern Suburbs, just so that you can get to know him, and he will then introduce Brett McCallum, who's the NBN Channel Sales Manager. Thank you for Telstra. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's all very interesting listening about the NBN. I'm learning a lot. I should introduce myself. I'm new to the Telstra Business Centre, Sydney Southern Suburbs. It's a bit of a mouthful, but most people know it's the Business Centre in Miranda. I've been the licensee and the owner now for 12 months, and I'm really happy to actually be part of the team there for Telstra. There's 10 Telstra Business Centres in Greater Sydney, and I actually have two of them. One of them is in North Ryde, and the other one's here in Sydney Southern Suburbs. And the one in Miranda is actually the larger of the two. We've got a team there of 36, I think it is, customer service people, and we're here to we pride ourselves on customer service. We've got quite a number of new people over the course of the last 12 months, and we value customer interaction, so we can act as I think a lot of complaints I hear about Telstra is that, and with many telcos to be fair, that you end up talking with somebody offshore. We actually become your interface to that, and we can shield you from that. I'm lucky that I'm actually part of an exciting business. My background is I've spent 20 years in and out of telco and IT space. So I've worked for corporates, I've worked for large multinationals like Symantec, providing security and services to businesses, through to owning an IP telephony company some 15 years ago, where we were rolling out NBN style services, which is basically telephone solutions over the data and internets. So I have a lot of experience. As I say, I really pride myself on actually providing customer service. Happy to actually talk to anybody about whether it be your telecommunications needs or whether it be your business IT needs. We have a team there that are actually keen to actually help businesses be that business. Sorry, a bit of a plug there. Be that business, which is what Telstra are trying to move us from being a telco into a tech co as well, so that it's not just your telecommunications need. And we can actually help you look after your own customers and grow your business. And as Brad said, it's really important that your transition, you've got choices, you've got lots of choices out there as far as who you can choose to go to the NBN. What you can't choose is not to go to the NBN. You have to go. So unfortunately, we have an 18-month window from the time that we actually are told that we have services available in our area to actually make that transition. My advice, I'll leave Brett to give you all the good advice, but my advice to you is to do it earlier rather than wait to the end, because there will be a compression at the end there for the 18-month period. There'll be a lot of people that go, I'll do it later. That will actually, it causes, we've seen it in some of the areas now where there's a mad rush to actually get services in place. So have a look at your options. Obviously, we're happy to talk about it. Brett's going to talk to you about some of the services that Telstra offer. NBN is an enabler. It can do many things, everything from telephone systems through to your internet services. So there's a lot of things that are changing. Most people are choosing to actually upgrade. If you have a telephone system, most people are actually choosing to do that. It's not a requirement. 9 out of 10 customers are actually doing that. Some people are actually staying on their existing telephone system. So don't believe it if you're told that you have to upgrade. That's not necessarily true. So if you have a business with an existing telephone system, we're happy to actually look at that and do that as a review for you as well. So there are systems in place that allow you to adapt your existing telephone systems. I won't talk too much. I'll be available to chat to anybody. I'm here with, I've got my wife, Lisa, who's standing under the light over there, and Andrew at the back of the room there as well. So we'll be available to have a chat. Brett's got a sample system that's actually up and running, a telephone service that's actually running on it's actually running on 4G at the moment, but it's a business grade one, so it actually flips over to 4G should the NBN go down for whatever reason. It actually has that redundancy, so that's there for you to have a play with later as well. Really lucky to have Brett here. I'll just introduce Brett. Brett's from Telstra proper. Brett has many, I think you were just telling me, 18 years experience with Telstra, and he is the NBN guru for Telstra in our area for businesses. So thank you very much, Brett.
When I used to do, when I used to do debating at school, I used to love going last because I could pick the points out of everyone who spoke. But I think this time what it's going to do is leave me with nothing to say. Honestly, so many good points have already been made today about your move to the NBN. I'm going to just rehash for the third time tonight. I'm very sorry. But it is just so important that you reach out early to a service provider, multiple service providers, whoever it is that you think you might want to talk to about all of your business. This is not just, I've got 2 telephone lines and broadband, I need to pick those up and move those to the NBN. We need to have a chat about an alarm, whether you have one, whether you don't. Your FPOS, how does that currently communicate? There's even opportunities down to things like your printer, your fax, all those sorts of things. There are so many other peripheral devices now that are all connected to the internet, and or you may have wanted to connect them to the internet, but the opportunity to do that hasn't existed because of either the cost of the devices, or the cost to communicate, or the speed. The speed may not have been there in those cases. So this also opens up a whole range of opportunities where you've been looking already and doing the research within your own industries. What are the people doing in other parts of Australia that have had the NBN for up to 5 years? And we've been providing business services right around Australia for just over 5 years now. I've been at that since the beginning. I started when I was 20 and had more hair. No, I didn't. I've looked like this since I was 20. So there's been lots of opportunities and to see what other people are doing around the country in all industries. There's, as I say, hundreds of thousands of people that are already, well, there's actually over 1 million people already on the NBN in the business environment. There's nearly, with Telstra alone, there'd be nearly 200,000 businesses across the NBN right now doing what we're about to do in this area. So it's very, very exciting. Beyond all of that, there were kind of three sort of messages within that I wanted to talk about. Partly around expectations, so expectations of speed, expectations of time to connect, the sorts of conversations that you'll have in coming months or year, depending on when the rollout's going to hit your business and certainly your home as well. Just a quick conversation around what does business grade mean, and this is something a little bit, it's not a new concept to Telstra, but it's a little bit newer to us because we really are making a big push now to differentiate from our consumer services. Not that there's anything wrong with our consumer services, and you might actually decide, particularly if you're operating out of home and you have people anywhere between that height and that height, you might actually want to go for a consumer type bundle for all of the reasons that come with non-paying tenants of those sorts of heights. And then the final one was just a quick message around fibre to the curb and the rollout, because that is the newest access type that we'll all have be able to have a shot at from April. So very, very exciting and local, very local. So around expectations, and sorry, I'll just ask Grant to keep an eye on time for me, because he usually shoos me out of his office after I've had a 10-minute conversation 2 hours ago. So I don't. If the sun starts going down, then I'll know I've talked too long. So look, expectations and time. You are dealing with big bad Telstra. I'm sorry for that. We process in the small medium business market around about 5,000 orders a week, and that's growing. We will connect around about 160,000, 170,000 businesses this financial year, and to be honest, more than half of that is in this second half of the financial year. So we're going to be busy. It doesn't mean that timeframes blow out beyond expectations. We're training up an additional 1,000 technicians as we speak. There's already a huge volume of technicians throughout the Sydney region ready to mobilise, ready to do what we have to do. But by the time we take your order, we process it, we'll check all of existing services if you're an existing customer, or we'll work with your provider if you're coming across. We'll ship hardware, we'll get everything pre-configured. We then book in an NBN appointment to do the work that's required at the end of the network. We will then send a Telstra technician out. It's part of that business grade offering that we send a technician on every single install. We don't do self-installation at this point. So you're probably looking from start to finish around about a 6 to 8 week time frame. This has been, over the last few years, there's been a huge impact on anyone planning to move. Right? I wish all of our customers would just stay in the one spot, but it doesn't happen for lots of different reasons. Expansion, new roads being built, new opportunities, new offices, all those sorts of things. Our customers move, and they move a lot. So what I would ask of you is that if you are contemplating any changes, any expansion, anything at all going on physically with the nature of your business over the next 12 months, keep in mind we're probably going to need 6 to 8 weeks, and if you know any longer before that, reach out to us. Reach out to Grant's team, get down to the business centre at Miranda and start planning those moves. Start looking and seeing, is the area that I'm going to within an NBN site, is it serviceable, is it not? Am I going to move my existing services, or am I going to go to the new platform as part of this move? So there's quite a bit there to consider around that. So business grade propositions. We're lucky. We can hang off a huge mobile network. We can hang off all these IT resources. We can pack all these things into our business bundles to try and really give you an offering that is completely different to what you would get if you were a residential customer, if you were one of our consumer customers. Look, business grade propositions. What we do, and look, this is not any indictment on the quality of the NBN. The network is very sound, it's very robust, it's brand new in most instances, all the way up to the last mile, we refer to it as. But in 40% of cases, our small business customers have had to rely on, for various reasons, the 4G network, which our bundles fail over to. So our equipment comes connected to the mobile network as well as a backup, so that should communications be lost, your voice services, your broadband, fail over seamlessly to the mobile network. It'll carry up to 10 lines. It's perfectly capable of doing it, right? Some of the funniest reasons I've seen for why that 4G service fails over, and this was in particularly in Armidale, where the fibre to the premise equipment was in, and there was additional stuff with PowerPoints and all that stuff going on. In the back of a dressmaker's shop, when on Tuesdays and Thursdays they would get some help with people coming in and hemming the bottoms of dresses and whatnot, the kettle would be going absolutely bananas all day long, as these lovely old women would be having cups of tea and hemming dresses. The only available PowerPoint they could reach was the one that their NBN equipment was plugged into. By luck, it wasn't where the router and the phones and everything else was, so our stuff was continually kicking in. The NBN, to them, was continually going down. As soon as I went out there and had my first cup of tea with them to try and find out what was going on, we fixed that problem with a $2 double adapter. And cups of kettle were boiling and the NBN was flowing, everything was good, right? So, but look, it does happen. Other elements of the business grade proposition, as of next week, this is quite new. You're the first public audience that we're announcing this to. All of our business bundles will launch at the standard plus NBN speed, which in old speak means that we will try to deliver you, or we'll work with NBN to try to deliver you a 50 meg download speed and a 20 meg upload speed. So significantly faster than what comes out of the box with our consumer offering and with what was previously offered to our business customers as well. Obviously that's subject to speed checks, and I'm really glad that Brad mentioned that, because you can get an estimate prior as long as we know where you are and what the conditions of that particular connection look like. So look, we just think in this day and age, uploads are so important to our businesses. You know, we're doing things in the cloud, even if we don't realise it. We could be just putting a few big files up there to send the latest ad copy around. It could be designs, it could be drawings, it could be whatever. All of that stuff relies on uploads. So providing you a slightly faster speed than sort of what comes out of the box, what the basic level speeds are, will just help you enable things. If you then choose to go a little bit faster, and if your service is capable of delivering that faster speed, then by all means the options to go up exist. So take that up if you're in the market for those kinds of speeds. Otherwise, around business grade, we're pulling in lots of different elements of our business now. So things like the opportunity to host your website, but also bring that into the bundle. So as opposed to going and spending lots and lots of money on people creating your websites, maintaining it, hosting, all those sorts of things, it can be as cheap as $24 a month. And compared to some of the offerings, and in my blurb, I don't know if anyone else read it, but I read it and showed all my family. Said, "Oh look, Here's my bio. In my little hobby business, flying drones around and having an awful lot of fun. I've probably blown 30 or 40 hours on my website for that, and mercilessly it got deleted last week by accident by my provider. So I'm probably going to move over to our own product, which is only very new, because I'd hate to see that happen again for any size business, even my tiny little drone one. Finally, on fibre to the curb, Mariam mentioned right at the start around about 85,000 premises throughout the Shire that are going live on the various technologies. Specifically, between March and June, there will be around about 49,000 that go live on the newest access type, being fibre to the curb. Within that, our numbers show around about 8% of those total premises are business customers or business premises. So you're probably going to be looking at 3,500 to 4,000 other businesses just like you across this immediate area are going to start moving to the NBN. So the message is very, very clear and very, very simple. Get in before all of them. Get in before they take up all the available appointment slots. Get in before they take up all the time. We will actually start reaching out through Grant and the Telstra Business Centre at Miranda. We will be. It's actually quite a proud moment for us in the Shire that we will be the first or one of the first sites to offer business NBN services across any Telstra products on this particular access type. So we're going to reach out to about 1,700 of the first businesses that are in that footprint. So when Brad was talking about people calling you and picking up the phone, if you want a job calling, come and see us, because we're going to have a lot of conversations to have in the next couple of weeks with the intention of an early bird offer and jumping on early. The products are proven, the network's proven. It's just a new way of plugging it in, and so we're going to go all guns blazing on this. This is going to be a really good move for what we're all doing. So with that, thank you very much for your time.